It's 9:02 anyways. Good morning. Hello, everyone. Hi, Lynn. Hi, Rose. Hi, Melly, Kat, Colleen. How did your guys', for those of you in the U.S. or who celebrate Thanksgiving, how did your Thanksgiving go? I know Canadian Thanksgiving is in October, if I remember correctly. We had a lovely time. I had my sweet potato casserole. I'm not going to lie. It was phenomenal. I was a good girl. I did want to take some home, but I did not. So we went right back on to Carnivore Friday. We ended up taking some of the prime rib roast we made home, and it turned out so good, y'all. Like, it turned out so good. We've never made it before. My brother usually makes it, except last year he overcooked it. So Scott and I got it, and I didn't really do much. I kind of just helped season it some, cooked it. It was, oh my gosh. If you ever need like a fancy meat, do it. It is so simple. I recorded everything and I will make a quick video of it. Speaking of which, the chuck roast video, y'all, we have made 4 chuck roasts and still have not finished recording this. I got the beginning part done, and then things fell apart. Well, they didn't fall apart, but it didn't finish cooking and we needed to go home. So we left it at my sister's. So I didn't get to finish recording then. And then we made it yesterday, but I went and laid down to go to bed last night and Scott was dealing with it. And he was so tired, he didn't record the ending of making the chuck roast. Looks like we'll be having another chuck roast in 2 days. And I will make sure I record the rest of it. Good morning, everybody. Anywho, prime rib. Delicious. It was phenomenal. We did also learn for how many people ate? 8?
Yeah, we have
8
lots
adults.
of leftovers.
8 adults. You do not need a 7 rib prime roast. It was 20 pounds. The bones are still there. More excuse to have chuck roast. Yes. Scott even said, he's like, well, it's a good thing we have lots of chuck roast sitting in the freezer. But I'm curious how everybody else's, hi Sherry, how everybody else's Thanksgiving went, what you guys had, if you ended up just kind of going off the rails and eating everything, and how you're feeling about that now. Scott was such a good boy. He was such a good boy. He ate tons of deviled eggs and ham and the prime rib roast. To my dismay, deviled eggs.
That's why I was standing in the kitchen finishing off last night with a bunch of deviled eggs.
Oh, that's what you ate last night? He disappeared last night eating some leftovers for like 30 minutes. I guess he was eating the rest of the deviled eggs we brought home.
Hence, this morning.
Oh, your stomach. Got it. They did not need to know that. Remember, if you guys have questions, chuck them in the comments. This week is going to be one heck of a week. I'm really excited. Scott and I, we've been reading, I don't know where it's at. Oh, right here. Tiny Habits. If you have not read this book, read it. It is amazing. We do book clubs on Thursdays at 6 p.m. Pacific, y'all. Okay. We are covering chapters 5 and 6, but chapter 3, super duper good chapter, talking about the all or nothing mentality. My video I did yesterday was about this, that how many times that I have fell in my life with it because it was all or nothing but the tiny habits. And I discovered I love working out, but a big thing for me is I hate going to the gym. I hate going to the gym, not because I'm around other people, but because I hate getting dressed, going out in the cold, driving 10 minutes to get there, getting out, going downstairs, then going up 3 flights of stairs, and then finally being there. It's just like too much. So Scott was amazing, and he agreed to order some Olympic weights for me, well, and hopefully him, to use so we can put it in our garage to make things simple. Paula went to Brazilian restaurant. Oh, I'm curious which one you went to. The Fogo de Chao that we went to last time was, and then we went to, do you remember the name of that one, Scott? Brazilian
Texas de Brazil.
Texas de Brazil. Oh, y'all. Now I will say
Theirs is good.
they did have spices on their meat. Fogo does not. So I'm curious which one you guys went to, if there's like a local one. Kelly, I went off, but ate a little of what I wanted, started back full throttle after that. Perfect. You know, it's one day, it's one meal. It's when it turns into one meal and then the next meal and then the next meal and then the next meal. And that's when we start to feel really bad about ourselves and we fall off. So, Melly, still feeling down. No McDonald's. Yes, no beer. That is amazing, Melly. It is very hard to get out of these downward spirals. It's like when we start feeding it, our velocity just keeps increasing more and more, or acceleration. Here, I forgot all my physics.
Velocity is how fast you're going.
Acceleration is how
change in velocity.
Listen to Scott. Most of y'all didn't know this, but Scott actually went to college for aeronautical engineering. He's super smart.
And finished, so it doesn't really count.
It does. He did not finish. He ended up doing business, but that's not the whole point. The whole point is he's super smart. Anyways, Melly, amazing job. And it is hard to kind of turn ourselves out of this. Have you, Melly, gotten this book yet? Or that one. Can you hand it to me? Not that one. The other one. 12 Rules. It's right there. This one. Okay. Both of them I strongly suggest. The Tiny Habits gives you actionable steps and exercises of how to change habits. 12 Rules is a kick in the pants. But the thing about this is it will help you understand why you've made the choices you've made in life. And it makes you look at all the things that we've lied to ourselves about and others, but mostly about ourselves. Read it. It's super duper my 2 favorite books on the planet, plus Atomic Habits. Martin, do you think carnivore works differently for men and women? Yes, just fundamentally because men and women's bodies are so different. We're the same yet different. Hormone imbalances, especially females who are going through hormonal cycles. Men do not experience these hormonal cycles. Postmenopausal, premenopausal, how men lose weight so much easier than women. I think there's a lot. It's the same and different. I mean,
it's because of body chemistry.
Yeah.
With testosterone.
That's
why we build muscle so much easier.
You have a man and a woman doing carnivore, and 9 out of 10, the man will lose a weight a lot faster than women. But women are also not supposed to be as, we're supposed to have fat pads and stuff on us for birthing hips and things like that, extra weight on us. Probably some mechanisms in there to also help us not lose weight as fast. So we have extra fat if we ever get pregnant for babies, just not this fat.
Baby insurance.
Baby insurance. Lynn, scallops and shrimp and Parmesan cheese, cream sauce, lots of garlic. Yum. 2 chuck roasts and crustless lemon cheesecake. All good, and the company loved it too. Perfect. Crustless lemon cheesecake. That sounds like a win, Lynn. If you're going to do some kind of sweetness. Chow CEO, Scott asked if you use normal mayo for your deviled eggs.
Well, it's actually my sister-in-law that made it. So
she probably used bad mayo.
Yeah, she probably used bad mayo.
Yeah. Although my brother-in-law made, now it's avocado oil, but it's better than the canola oil based. He made some delicious avocado homemade mayonnaise.
That was good. We went to it a long time ago.
You went to Fogo. Yeah. The first time I went to Fogo, phenomenal. The second time, but this is, post-pandemic and stuff. So. Good morning, Karen. Kaza, what is the best fat to fry steak with? Funny enough, we were having this conversation in book club. Tallow is the best, okay? It has, don't quote me, I'm going to do a video this week. I swear I'm going to about this. It's 504 degrees for tallow. Ghee is also another option, and I think it's like 505.
I think it's like 480 something.
Okay, whatever. It's close to 500.
Video we're going to do this week.
Yeah. So ghee or tallow, the best. Bacon grease surprisingly only went up to like 385, 375, and these are smoke temps. Because once it starts smoking, it becomes acrid and it'll actually affect the taste of your meat. Butter. Y'all, I know people are going to argue with me about this. Do not cook your meat in butter. Add the butter at the end once it's done cooking. If you are searing steak in butter, you are burning the milk solids and it gives a not great taste. I promise you, if you cook your steaks in butter, switch to tallow or ghee, then add a little butter on top, you will find your steaks taste 10 times better versus cooking them in butter. Butter has to be a very low, slow cook, not any other way. Avocado oil, if you're ketovore-ish, is another really good one because it's like 500 degrees, something like that. So tallow, avocado oil, or ghee are what you want to use. Bacon grease, I only use really on a slow, low cook in the crock pot for like a chuck roast, or if I'm not cooking something at a high temperature like eggs. And then butter is always added at the end.
I cook everything in avocado oil, really.
We pretty much cook everything. That
everything
and tallow.
That goes on the grill because I heat the grill to 500 to 550.
Yeah. I have Jay Peterson, but not the other one. Is it on Audible?
Probably.
It probably is. I love Audible. Don't get me wrong. I would say having the physical book is better because it has like written instructions for the exercises and it wants you to write it out. Now, if you're a super Audible person and you do fine with following instructions like just verbally and not seeing it, go for it. But I bet it is on Audible. Paula, I use Chosen mayo or I make my own. I tried the mayo from Primal Kitchen. I do not like it. It's not Chosen mayo. I've never tried that brand, but I do not like the Primal mayo. It was nasty. Then the cheesecake was keto sweetened. I figured it was. I think that's, if you're going to do something like that, that's perfect. Perfect. Linda, duck fat. I don't know anything about duck fat. I've only had duck twice in my life, so I'm not really sure what the smoke point is on that. I wonder what chicken fat, although chicken doesn't really have much fat in it, does it? Good morning, Candace. Having a sunny and very cold day down in Battleground, Washington, almost said Wisconsin, across the Columbia River from Portland. So you are south Washington.
Way south. Oh, finally cleared.
Oh.
Yeah, this morning was nice and cold and frosty.
Let me see if I can show you guys.
It cleared, but
you can't really see it.
Frost on the roofs. But the whole street was like misty, frosty, like it's, the movie The Fog.
Yeah. Let's see. Ingrid, first month weight came off. Now second month stalled. Is this common in women? It definitely absolutely can be. Your body will kind of let go a lot of all the carbs. Here's the train. Carbs bind with water. Okay. Salt binds with water. So then you kind of get like this train of fluid. So when you're eating carbs and you have a lot of salt, you'll feel really bloated. Okay. Because salt follows the water, which follows the carbs. Get rid of the carbs, your body lets go of the water, and the water, then the salt releases. And then it doesn't matter how much salt you eat. Probably don't eat a salt shaker, but I can eat almost any amount of salt I like. I have no swelling issues because no carbs. Anywho, look at how things have changed. Has a carb creep happened? Are you eating like frequently all the time? I wouldn't stress about it for your second month. The big thing is, I think the first 3 months is you need to work on consistency. Being consistent eating the meat or ketovore, however you're doing it. Be consistent. Get 3 months in. And then if that end of the 3 months, it's like, this is going really, really slow or not happening at all, then do a week of a food journal. I'm not for journaling or tracking macros all the time because to me, it just stresses me out and makes me focus on weight loss, which then makes my cortisol levels go up because I'm stressed that it's not happening the way I want it to happen. Excuse me. So that's what I would suggest. Make it 3 months. Let us know how you do next week, Ingrid. And the big thing is I eat until I'm no longer hungry. Dr. B says eat until full. For me, that is too much. I have the Bank of Amanda to go through still. So I eat until I'm no longer hungry. It's a very odd sensation. I'm not hungry, but I don't feel full. And that's kind of where I know to stop eating. Okay. So that can be a big difference. Peter, how about frying in coconut oil? I don't know what the temperature, I will touch on that. I don't know what the temperature of coconut oil is. Tallow and ghee are going to be your absolute best bet if you're doing carnivore. I don't do well with coconut. So as much as I love coconut, I don't do well with it. So I don't use any coconut, anything like that. Oh, here, Paula. It's great and I use it often. It can smoke, so I wouldn't let it get too high. I will have to look up what the smoke point of that
It
is.
looks like close to butter.
You want to look it up real quick for me? Sherry, good morning. Good morning, Sherry. On carnivore, is there a calorie restriction? No. Carnivore is not about being restrictive. I know that seems ironic because you're only eating meat pretty much and maybe a little high-fat dairy for doing that. But it is eating until you are no longer hungry. It is about getting the carbs and the sugars out of your system. And it is about learning what your hunger feels like. I spent my entire life eating everything on my plate because I was told, eat everything on that plate. And I never actually learned what true hunger felt like. So I would eat all the time. And then I became an emotional eater where if I felt sad, happy, depressed, I'd eat. So I ate all the time. And then again, never learned when I actually needed to eat food. To me, that is the whole point of carnivore in the beginning, is learning what is true hunger? When is our body actually saying it needs nutrients? So I don't suggest eating, 10 sticks of butter a day or just eating until you're gorged. No, this is about learning about eating when you're needing nutrients, not for emotional support.
Okay, I found this on the web for eating when you're eating nutrients, not for
Siri's always listening.
Siri was listening to the conversation.
So it says coconut oil is like virgin is 350, refined is 400.
So coconut oil 350, smoke point refined 400.
It's a little bit below butter, but refined is a little bit above butter.
Yeah. But again, I'm not a coconut person, or I can't do it. Chris has the best butter mayo recipe. I will have to have my brother-in-law try that. Honestly, the only thing I would use mayo for now is if I made tuna salad, and it would be ketovore because I would put dill pickles chopped up in it. I don't really use mayonnaise for anything else. I had this one time, this is probably why my mother, I was a latchkey kid, I think as Scott says. I was in elementary making my own meals for lunch, and I forgot to make my lunch for school. And so I called my mom and asked her to bring me food for lunch, and she did. And I remember vividly to this day sitting at the end of the cafeteria thing, took a bite of that sandwich, and it was 99% mayonnaise with the tiniest piece of ham, and I vomited. I did not have mayonnaise for almost 10 years after that. I do not like mayonnaise. Ugh. Except in a few rare things. Candace, I would say I fell off the wagon on Thanksgiving, but I made a conscious choice to do the whole traditional meal, including pies. My body made it very clear that it was a bad choice. Don't let yourself or anybody else shame you. If you made the choice, you made the choice. We're all adults. There's should be no shame around it. It's getting right back to where you were beforehand. That's it. I wouldn't even consider the stumble. The fact that you made the choice that you made, as I said, we're all adults. Thank you. It was sweet. Kip was sweet, and he's going to help us find the smoker that we want to. Sue, how do you get your tallow? Well, you can buy it, although I would not suggest it. We go to Whole Foods, to the butcher, and I ask them for their fat trimmings because where we're at, they were just throwing them away. They give them to us free. Scott's laughing, and I don't know why. They give them to us free, and then all you do is you take the fat trimmings, put it in a pot, and you cook it down. I have a video on how to do it. It's called suet. And then you cook it down into tallow, which is pretty much just rendering the fat down in liquid form. You then strain it through cheesecloth because you want all the little bits out. Boom, you now have tallow.
I'm laughing because we live in, vegan country. So extra fat is because in Colorado, they actually have a code to sell it.
Oh, yeah. It depends on where you're at. As one lady said, they do sell it for $3.99 or $4.99 a pound. You can go, doesn't have to be Whole Foods. It just happens to be the place that I went. You can go to a local butcher and ask them for the suet. And yeah.
That's what's awful.
Oh, FR, I'm almost 3 months in, down 29 pounds. Woo woo. Just wanted to thank you for on YouTube, and your what to do, need to do quote got me through Thanksgiving. Oh, are you willing to give up what you want for what you need? I have it sitting next to me. We both had horrible acid reflux all night. Wasn't worth it. Next year will be beef. So was it yesterday? Friday, we went right back to carnivore because I had the sweet potatoes and stuff. Mm-hmm. And I have to tell you, I only ate once Friday. I had some of the warmed up prime rib. That night, oh my gosh. The only thing I can imagine is because I haven't had acid reflux and stuff. I had such bad stomach acid. I ended up having to take Pepto. It was the craziest thing. I thought I was going to vomit, and that's just the worst thing I could ever feel like I could do was vomit. And I probably laid there for 2 hours sick at my stomach thinking I was just going to vomit from it. So not worth it in the least. Ingrid, I forgot to mention I'm strength training 3 times a week. I've noticed I'm losing inches even though I'm still. Oh, yeah. If you are losing inches, who cares what the scale says? It's about body fat and composition, Ingrid. Sister, you're worrying too much. What'll happen is you might sit stalled for a little while, especially if you're kind of newer into weightlifting or weight training. And then all of a sudden you'll have these drops, and then you'll stall for a while, and then you'll have a drop. And it's just your body building the muscle. It's building muscle as you're losing weight. So it kind of neutralizes out, but then at the same time, you'll have these dips. Lula, a few days ago, I vomited and got a face rash, likely from something I ate. Could carnivore prevent that? Yes, most likely. I mean, I can't say 100% yes because there could be a trillion reasons, but most likely I would say yes. If it's from something you've eaten, the whole point, and this is why I do carnivore, is, I need to lose weight, but it's because the autoimmune, and there are a lot of things. I can't have black pepper. I get a rash on my face. If I have it every once in a blue moon, it's okay. But the fresh cracked black pepper, and I'm just realizing I keep forgetting to go buy white pepper to try that out. Fresh cracked black pepper makes my face break out in a rash. And you could be experiencing the same thing like that. And by narrowing down what you're eating, getting to the most nutrient dense things, meat, then boom, you can discover it. And if you do for 90 days and then slowly add one thing back in over every couple weeks, you could actually figure out the culprit if you were that, what am I trying to say? If you're that patient. I'm not. I would just rather not eat it.
It's also cinnamon for you too.
Yeah, cinnamon. Well, I can have Ceylon cinnamon. I can't have the other cinnamon. I don't remember what the other cinnamon. The main cinnamon sold in the grocery stores is from India. The Ceylon cinnamon is from Japan. I don't remember, but it's a difference in the type of cinnamon. Love mayo on my burgers. You know what I like? Avocado. I would trade mayo out in a heartbeat for some smushed avocado. I have not tried sour cream on a burger. Has anybody instead of mayo? That sounds interesting. I love sour cream. Scott does not.
Oh, that sounds awful. Sounds truly awful.
Oh, Danita, Farmer's Market will have tallow leaf lard sometimes. What is leaf lard? I'm curious.
I've never heard of that either.
All right, Leela, I don't like chicken unless it's breaded. I don't like turkey or pork. I don't like steaks unless they're very fatty, and I have a mild intolerance to all seafoods. What should I eat instead? Chicken, thighs, and wings. I know you said you don't like it unless it's breaded, but that's because you're probably eating chicken breasts. Try wings and thighs. I actually have a hot wing or a Yeah, a hot wing recipe that is to die for, because the chicken wings are a little bit more fattier, but then you get the sauce, that with it. Try that. Now, if you're having an allergy, the nightshades might not work for you because it does have hot sauce in it, but something to look into. I don't like turkey. Pork, I could take or leave it. I do bacon every once in a while, and then chorizo sausage. Steaks, how do I say this? I really only like ribeye, but try the chuck roast. If you like fatty beef,
Shank steaks.
shank, flank.
No, there's shank and flank. There's two.
No, there's no shank.
Anyways, the one
Flank.
that you roll out and it's a long
Skirt steak.
skirt steak. Thank you.
Skirt steaks are delicious. You got to cook them properly,
Flank and
though.
cut ribs.
Flank and ribs, those are fatty and delicious. Chuck roast, I have in my Discord the instructions on how to do it. Scott and I, in 2 days, are going to finish that stupid video on how to do it. It's ridiculously simple. It is phenomenal, and it's fatty.
See, that's the problem. It's too easy to do.
It is so easy.
You're like, oh, I forgot to start the chuck roast. You're like, go do it. And then 2 minutes later, I'm back. Okay, it's done. It is so easy to prepare.
He actually came running upstairs and he's like, it's done. He's like, it took me less than 2 minutes. Literally, he came bursting upstairs to sing that to me.
Too fast.
Those would be cuts. Things that are not as fatty for you, butter. Add some butter to it to increase the fat.
Also, another meat she can do is
Lamb, duck. Although I've never cooked duck myself, but if you get good duck, it is really good. What else?
That's the other thing you can do is if you don't like the chicken, you can add other things to it that you do.
Ground beef, 70-30 ground beef. Add butter to it if you need it to be fattier. I like making taco with taco seasoning and then using pork rinds and dipping it with sour cream. That's one of my favorite go-to meals is that. And I'm not a seafood lover other than lobster and crab, and it's too expensive. Linda, tablespoon of a teaspoon, Lord have mercy, of baking soda and water will ease your discomfort or any acid reflux. I'll have to remember that. Although, as I said, I haven't had acid reflux in so long. Oh my goodness. Melly, same with black pepper, switch to white pepper, no issues. I need to really put that on my go to the store and buy list. Sour cream with Frank's hot sauce. Good on a lot of stuff. I bet it is. The face rash is caused by blood vessels bursting under your skin, caused by pressure and vomiting. This often happens with morning sickness. So mine was actually a rash, not just, so I still have, you can see some of the damaged blood vessels from the rosacea on my skin. It was actually a rash, like bump rash, not from broken blood vessels. Leaf lard is not porky flavored like regular lard, and you have to render it yourself. At least the one I have rendered, the fat comes from different parts of the pig. Interesting. I'll have to look in that. Your farmer's market is probably immensely better than our farmer's market, although we haven't been since COVID-ish.
Yeah, it wasn't
It wasn't
spectacular.
But then again, we came from having a ginormous farmer's market in Phoenix in spring, summer, fall to an itty bitty one here. Thomas, I've been carnivore for some time, still have some time now. I took my wife to the doctor. She told us to put her on a keto diet because she put some weight on. My wife had a stroke. I'm curious, Thomas, are you guys going to do that? And kudos to that doctor for suggesting that and not a low-fat kind of diet for her. Also, I'd be curious about the stroke that your wife had. Is she having a lot of symptoms? Like, did she recover pretty well from the stroke? I actually bought white peppercorns and opened up my pepper shaker, painstaked removing the black ones, and then added one. Oh, I bet that would be delicious because usually I've only ever seen like the small things, the white pepper that's already been chopped up and everything. I stayed the course for Thanksgiving and decided to have one dessert for Christmas. There you go.
Right.
The Ballard one is bigger. Interesting. Maybe if we're ever down there during the weekend, we'll have to try to go. That would be a lot of fun. Lula, when I exercise, I feel like taking a nap immediately afterwards. Would carnivore stop that, or is that normal? Well, it'd be very specific. If you're just walking or doing moderate exercise, you most likely would be fine. If you are doing intense, like HIIT kind of things, that is a high demand on the body. And what happens is your body still makes glucose, just normally, just a base amount. You'll go through all that glucose and you can kind of fatigue yourself out with doing high intensity workouts. So it depends on, is it just like bike riding or what kind of exercise you doing? Like, are you about to pass out? You're pushing yourself so hard. Janita, let's see, there's spice store called Pinzies. Pinzies, we're going with that. And they have really good white peppers. Sweet. Moderate, like a 20-minute walk. Oh, no, you'd be fine. I do 20 minutes right now on the bicycle with Olive. I don't know where she's at because her legs are so long. Even if I was skinny, I could not sprint fast enough for her. So her and I do a bicycle run, which I actually push myself pretty hard. And then afterwards, we do 1 to 2 miles with Olive and the other 2 dogs. And then we've also been walking Ryu around the block because she can't go as far right now. So I do all of that, and then I still don't feel like I need to take a nap, if that answers your question. The only time I will say, Lula, is in the beginning. If you're not doing keto or carnivore stuff, you will be very, very tired the first few weeks as your body's transitioning from using glucose to carbs. It is a natural process. Our bodies like quick, simple energy. And also, I realized something. I was reading a comment someone made, and the body with alcohol will kind of metabolize that first in our body. It metabolizes it because it's a toxin in our body. Well, what if we looked at it this way? Our body metabolizes glucose because too much of it is a toxin in our body. So maybe that is why our bodies prefer to burn the glucose first as a protective mechanism so it doesn't cause damage. That is why when someone's a type 2 diabetic, or type 1, but more type 2, if you've been a uncontrolled diabetic for so long, you get things like neuropathy, they get their limbs cut off. What the free flowing glucose in the blood damages blood vessels and it damages nerve endings. So having too much is very dangerous. We do have to have a base minimum, but you don't need to consume any glucose to do it. Our liver can do it for ourselves as long as we're eating protein. Anyways, that was kind of a sideline comment there. So, back to it. You're going to be tired for the first 2-ish weeks. Take electrolytes, magnesium, sodium, potassium, those kinds of things. Make sure you're eating enough, and you can avoid a lot of the carb withdrawals. You still will have lows. I remember every time that I've ever had to restart, I do have to take naps at times, but about 2 weeks for both me and Scott, about 2 weeks. And then my energy levels start spiking back up and then above where I had started at previously. The best part is you don't have these up and down in energy levels throughout the day once you get to ketosis.
Yeah.
Bacon mayo? I have not tried bacon mayo. That sounds almost delicious. I haven't.
Recipe from God.
Recipe. Scott loves his bacon.
And mayo.
And yuck. Buttermayo, I have not. I'm going to convince my brother-in-law to do it though, because he tried a couple iterations of making his own homemade avocado mayo, like with avocado oil, because I pointed out how bad seed oils are, and they're trying to like get the bad stuff out of their diets. So I'm going to convince him to do butter. and bacon mayo. How would that, has anybody used bacon mayo and made tuna salad with it?
That might be interesting.
Yeah. Lula, I saw one of your streams a month or two ago. I've got to say, it looks like the carnivore's been working for you. I can see a difference. You know, it's not just two things I can tell you. If you haven't, Lula, go watch one of my first, and I'm talking first YouTube videos I did. It is not just about the weight loss improvements. It has changed my attitude. It has allowed me to uncover who I am. I was so swallowed in fat, shame and guilt. Like literally that's all. When I look at myself and I see the fat and stuff, this is just years and a decade plus of shame and guilt turned into a physical form of fat. And getting that off, it has allowed me to be the person that I am. Have always was that person that wanted to hide in the back. And y'all, if you knew me before I started YouTube at all, I wanted to just be invisible as possible for a long time, just to be the most invisible person in the room. I never wanted to be the idea of having to do public speaking would give me almost hives. I would get so nervous. And now this is who I am.
Well, okay. It's so much more than that. Because right before you went to the hospital, you were telling me every
Scott's talking, but doesn't want me to show him on camera so y'all know because he didn't comb his hair. Go ahead. People want to know why you're talking off screen. It's because he didn't comb his hair. That's why.
It's been a busy morning, feeding dogs, doing everything else. All right. Anyways, before Amanda went to the hospital for her kidney stone, she would tell me very frequently, almost every single night, I wish I didn't wake up. It'd be easier for you. Which is a truly terrible thing to say to your spouse that loves you very much, that would be very lost without you. And her life is totally different now. And she feels that she is contributing to the family and my life, and that we need each other and we love each other. And that mental change, that comes from restoring integrity to herself, of being the person she wants to be. And a lot of that is around healthy eating and all the stuff that comes with it. Because healthy eating, you're more active, you have better energy, you get dopamine from getting things done that when she started out, it would take her half hour to 45 minutes just to clean all the dishes in the sink. And she had to hoist her belly on top of the countertop because it was so stressful to do it just for that time. She was covered in sweat.
I literally would lift my stomach up and set it on the lip of the sink because my back hurt so bad and it was so big that I couldn't stand more than a couple minutes if I didn't do that.
And you have any idea how wonderful it was for me from you just did the dishes, that I love you that you did that much, because I was doing everything. I had to walk the dogs, I had to feed the dogs, I had to do all the shopping, I had to do all the cooking, I had to do all the cleaning. I had to do everything. And that mental change for her happened with carnivore, because she was, I'm going to do more and contribute and more and contribute. And she felt more worthwhile than anything else that she could have done. That's why healthy eating is so important. Sorry.
Scott got off on his lovely sweet tangent. Ketogenic Woman has recipe for bacon mayo, and it looks like both Crazy Ketos and Dr. Baranisha. That is where I'm going to point Buck to. Is I'm going to have him be the goat, the scapegoat, to try it. Emily, after total hysterectomy, type 2 diabetes, my doctor says stop all fat and start eating mainly veg and chicken. I'm so lost what to do. Emily, I can tell you, I am no longer a type 2 diabetic. I never had to take insulin, but I did take metformin, and I am no longer a diabetic. So, type 2 diabetic. I'm going to not respectfully disagree with your physician, because eating mostly veggies and chicken, it'll put you in a very hard spot because it's so low fat that you're going to feel starving and want to eat, and it's going to be very, very hard to follow. You probably would lose weight that way, but that's not the end all be all. Fat is so important for women, especially hormones. I know you had the total hysterectomy, and I'm curious if they put you on any estrogen replacement. I'd be real curious. Lila, I want to train AI to know the benefits of carnivore. Yeah, it's very vegan heavy. I actually get emails from Kaiser, who is the big one up here, plus my insurance carrier, about doing a vegan diet all the time. Thomas, okay, I asked about your wife. She can walk a little. Left arm is totally useless. She went off for cholesterol medicine. Doctor's fine with it. The stroke was from an operation heart valve 2 years ago. So it may have still been 2 years ago, but I hope that if you guys aren't, you do find a really good neurophysical therapist, because they can help her get back some more function. I know it's extremely hard and difficult, but the brain isn't a magnificent thing that if a portion of it dies, another portion kind of takes over. Is it going to be as good as it was before? No, but she can get some more mobility back. How much depends on how much effort she's willing to put in, and having a good neuro-based physical therapist will make a world of a difference. And for her arm, occupational therapist. That's what I would strongly suggest. I hope that she at least did some rehab afterwards, because it's going to be a world of difference. The brain will not remap new motor plans and things like that unless she's constantly trying to do it. I always told my stroke patients, it's like, listen, if I'm asking you to do a leg kick, which is called a long arc quad, I'm asking you to do it. It might be the 1,003rd time that you actually try it that it actually works, but until you do it those 1,003 times, the body can't map anything. Okay, so practice. More practice. Oh, Heather said, oh, my heart, listening to Scott talk about you, how he'd be lost without you. I love him. Thank you, Heather. That's so sweet. Emily, they did put me on estradiol. I haven't been taking it, though. I was so tired of meds. I stopped everything. Should I be taking it? That is going to be a personal choice because there are side effects with taking it. However, the trade-off is it's going to really kind of mess with your hormones, or it's going to mess with your body pretty heavily if you don't. But again, you need to do some research and kind of decide, are you willing to take on the side effects for it? My sister had a full hysterectomy, my oldest one, and she takes, I think, the estradiol as well for hers. She does pretty well with it. However, she supposedly this week, she said to me this week, she's going to start doing carnivore, ketovore.
Okay.
I really hope she does, because she probably has at least 100 pounds to lose, which is really hard when you're older too. But whatever you do, Emily, my suggestion, get rid of the carbs, get rid of the sugar. And then do the experimentation on yourself I'm not talking about the drugs, I'm talking about with the food. Try for, a month eating carnivore or ketovore, and then reassess how you feel then. If you're feeling great, our bodies know more than these studies do. I hate to say that. Hi, Betsy. Guinea pig to try it. Yes, thank you. That was the word I was looking for before. Anywho, Emily, yeah, just don't get my video I just did was carnivore paralysis, and it's about decision paralysis. And this is what happens is the more options we have, the harder it is to make a choice. Narrow it down and then just choose. What is it called, Scott, when not buyer's remorse, when you have options and then you think that you missed out on the other option? There's actually like a business term for it. Don't remember. Doesn't matter. But pretty much it's when you make a choice and then you kind of regret it. his brain will work on that for a while. But there's a business term that goes
I
along with
think
that.
FOMO comes to mind, but that's
Well,
not it.
fear of missing out would be the simpler way of saying it is FOMO. Fear of missing out is if you choose A, then you're the fear of missing out on option B or C. Don't go watch, Emily, go watch my video from yesterday, Saturday. Yeah. That will help you because it talks about decision paralysis and how I told Scott, because for him, he doesn't have this. He's never really experienced it. But when you have a lot of weight to lose or health issues to address, it's like having to climb a mountain. You know you need to get to the top of that mountain. But for years, I spent circling the base of the mountain. And it's like I couldn't figure out the path to get up. Okay. So I have some suggestions in there. And big one, get this book today. Seriously, my biggest suggestion for you is go get this book today. Start reading it. And y'all, if you buy this book and start reading it, I'm going to dump coffee everywhere. Do the exercises. I know it's so simple just to like read the book and, I'll come back to it. But he has exercises here. Do them. It is where you're going to get the biggest benefit out of this book is doing the exercises. I've been doing them. We're on chapter 5 and 6 this week, and it has helped me immensely. Like the whole thing with the gym, realizing I hadn't been going to the gym because I actually physically hate going there. It's so much. It's like an hour lost. Don't ask me how, but it's like I lose an hour by the time I have to get ready, get dressed, get, like public appropriate. Buyer's remorse. Buyer's remorse is when you buy something and then it's close to buyer's remorse, but it's something different. Is carnivore diet safe during pregnancy? My granddaughter is morbidly obese and is now starting her second trimester. Nisha from Dr. Berry did carnivore. She did more ketovore, I think, during it. Next year, our goal is I'm going to be pregnant because I'll be at my healthy weight. I'm going to do ketovore through it. I'm not going to gain 1,000 pounds back during the pregnancy because I go crazy eating everything because that would be terrible for the baby. And ironically, they've done studies. I don't know, take or leave the information, but it makes sense to me. The genetic, if the mother is overweight, then it increases like threefold the probability that the child is going to be overweight. I mean, that could be a genetic component, but also how many overweight parents do you see their kids usually are overweight too? Because if they're eating bad, the kids are going to have the same access to the same food, so.
Kind of follows.
Yeah. Tracy, I'm 71, started carnivore August 1st, weighed myself today, down 40 pounds. What? That is amazing, Tracy. When tempted, I remember my why. That is beautiful. Y'all, maybe you don't want to do YouTube, and that's okay. But if you're starting this journey or somewhere on it, make a video to just yourself. If you don't want to share it, that's okay. Make a video to yourself of where you're at, especially if you're just starting, where you're at, how you feel. My favorite thing to do is to go back and look at those first few videos. My voice is different. I had so much fat around my throat. It's called fatty tongue. One of the speech therapists said, I had so much fat around my tongue. My voice is different. My attitude is different. My demeanor is different. The world literally was dark for me. 2 reasons, because I was sad, depressed, and suicidal, but also because I had so much, I know this sounds crazy, but I had so much fat around my eyes. Like it was dimmer because there's so much fat. It didn't let as much light into my eyes. So the world was mentally darker and literally visually darker for me. And as I've lost weight, the world has gotten brighter because my fat's disappearing off my face. I love the phrase publicly appropriate. Oh, means no more trench coat at drive-thru for coffee, doesn't it? I would still do that, Valerie. I would still do that. Oh. After 2 years on carnivore, nothing tastes as good as a crispy animal fat with meat. One may still crave those old foods, but they just don't thrill anymore. Yeah, you'll find too, is you'll be like, okay, the one I can say is the sweet potatoes did taste as good as I remembered them. However, pretty much when I've eaten anything else off, it never, ever as good as I remembered ever. Whether it was something sweet or a burger with a bun or French fries, it's like our brain creates this like ideal taste and it doesn't hit the spot, but also then we feel sick afterwards, which is like just a double whammy, you know?
Can I add something about the tiny habits?
Scott wants to, let me answer this and then okay. Such a scary thought that carbs can make a person suicidal. I think it's a combination of the sugar and the carbs, right? Because they both break down to glucose in the body. I don't care what anybody says, whether it's a complex carb or not, it still turns into glucose eventually. It is a massive amount of carbs and sugar plus the chemicals. I think that's a big thing, is the chemicals. All the preservatives and stuff. I always go on this soapbox about please don't use iodized salt because it's the what is it? The aluminum something whatever that they use as an anti-caking agent. It's what they use in sheetrock now instead of using asbestos. And they feed that to us. Okay, go ahead, Scott.
I was gonna you said something that just kind of struck me like, it's easy for me to do this and that and other things. Carnivore is easy for me, and this really, you talked about this in the chapter you covered about simplicity. I love carnivore because it's simple, because it's easy to do. I tried to do a video, and I'm very bad at videos, just talking about all the recipes that I like preparing and how much it actually costs, and the savings I have, and the time I have, and the cleanup, and the waste, like all of these things that I love about it. We cut our trash down the other week because we just don't have that much waste.
We save $60 a month, y'all, because not all places do this, but if you can, you can. They allowed us to do trash pickup every other week instead of weekly. $60. So our trash bill was cut in half because we don't need it.
Yeah, leftovers. I don't throw away food anymore. Like I completed it all in the meat mush. I just mashed it together good with eggs and cheese. Flanken ribs. They take me 3 minutes to prepare and 3 minutes to cook. I'm done with the meal in less than 10 minutes.
Oh.
Like, there's just so much.
Sorry, I was looking for it.
Yeah, were you looking for simplicity?
Yeah, the headline, can you guys see it? Simplicity changes behavior. The more simplistic a habit is in the beginning, the more likely we're going to do it.
And that's really like learning that. Like that, I just kind of did that naturally throughout most of my life. Like whatever was easier, and frozen pizza was the easiest. Not because it was the healthiest and the tastiest.
The healthiest.
It was the simplest. And carnivore is healthy and it's simple. And you free up so much more time in your life not having to worry about food, to just go do things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Sorry.
That's okay. That's okay. Melanie said, about the deodorant. Yes. Oh, yes. I used to have to put on deodorant twice a day. It was so bad. Like, so bad. Now, I only put it on once a day or every other day. And it's a huge change. Huge change. Hi, Sandy. No worries. Been working out at the gym this week, but still trying to figure out my food, having problems sticking to. And I missed the Friday book club again. No worries, Sandy. We are going back to Thursday, 6 o'clock. Put an alarm in your phone. I have to put an alarm in my phone because if I don't, I forget. Use a prompt. Chapter 4 talks about prompts to do habits that we need to do. Okay. Having problems sticking to, are you saying like you're having a hard time sticking into carnivore or ketovore or whatever with the food? We can help if you want to expand. I did not know that. It was all 3 pregnancies. I gotta move this. Hold on, y'all. I might drop you. I hope not.
What's wrong?
It's fine. It's fine. My leg was underneath me and it was going numb. Anyways, I didn't know that she had 3 for that. My only concern, but I have the mother, MFR gene. So I can't, is it folic or folate? I have to have folate or folic. One of them, I have to have the more processed version of it because my body can't do it itself. That would be my only concern, is making sure to have enough folic acid, because that is, they absolutely 100% know spina bifida, without having enough folic acid, it will happen, guaranteed. But you can take supplements and things like that for it. So that'd be my only concern about doing carnivore on there. But as I said, I can't get folic acid normally anyways. I have to get the special one, thanks to genetics. All right. Let's see. Good to go. Eat my slumber by. Thanks. Bye, Melly.
Bye, Melly.
Methylfolate. Thank you, Betsy. I know we've talked about it before. I don't sweat since doing carnivore. Could this be due to not holding on to fluid? Age is a big thing with sweat. I'll be 100% honest. Age is a big thing with how much you sweat, but also how I know you move around a lot, Lynn, but how often are you pushing yourself? Like where you'd be doing something that you would need to sweat because you've lost weight and then your body's not having to move as much mass around. So you're not generating as much heat. The whole point of sweating is, especially, that's why you see morbidly obese people just walking around profusely sweating, because they are moving a massive amount of mass around. And that's why they sweat a lot. Plus, I mean, carbs do make you sweat. They do make you sweat. Your body's trying to get rid of all that extra glucose you've consumed. So I think it's a few different things for you, Lynn. Oh, I love Ferrosorb by Thorne. I'll have to look into that. But yes, it's the methylfolate. My brother and sister did the genetic testing. I really need to send mine off to get that done too, but you know. Valerie, thanks, Amanda and Scott. I need to restart. I was carnivore and had all the benefits, but dived down the slippery slope. Keep on inspiring. Yes, go buy that book today. And you know what, Valerie? Just go look in the mirror and be like, whatever choice I made yesterday or 5 minutes ago, I cannot change that. There is no way we can go back in time and change it. So beating ourselves up for past choices, we can't change them. No amount of shame or guilt is going to change the past. So accepting you made the choices you made, you're an adult, but I can make better choices now and tomorrow. That's all you got to tell yourself, and you can get right back on there. Did you have something to say?
Nope.
You were
that's pretty much it. You know, let go of the past. Being able to let go of the past is a skill to learn.
It is a skill to learn. Scott's very right. Letting go of the mistakes and not...
Part of the skill is learning what is the trade-off that you
That's
got.
Olive drinking water currently. Olive, honey, you so loud. Thank you. And dribble water everywhere. Much appreciated. Sorry, honey.
So learning to let go of the past is learning what are the trade-offs, right? Like, what did I get out of this? Is this part of what made your personality and where you are? Amanda and I, like I mentioned earlier, I didn't finish engineering school. If I finished engineering school, it's possible Amanda and I never would have met.
He does. One time, every once in a while, he'll have a regret, like, I wish I'd done this. But the reality is him and I probably would have never met if he had actually finished his engineering degree. We wouldn't have. I mean, technically, I had met him when I was 12. That is not when we started dating, before anybody gets any weird ideas. It's just her
older brother and I were roommates in college for years.
Yeah, and so I met him a few times. Did I remember Scott at all? Not in the least.
Yeah.
But that was the only time like we had actually physically met, and it was more like, oh, this is my brother's friend, move on. But later on in life, when I moved to Minneapolis to do my physiology degree, that's when we started talking. So, you know.
And so I had to learn, like, the trade-off is that, well, I'm where I'm at now, and where I am is where I'm supposed to be because I met Amanda. And then where we are at now with whatever she's been eating for years, then that's where we're at now.
Okay, last thing, because I know we're getting over time right now, but I could look back and all the pain and suffering and everything that I've ever experienced for being overweight. the physical, the mental, the what I did to the choices I made to myself, and I could regret that. But if I did, it would be regretting that I'm sitting here today talking to you guys.
Mhm.
Being able to share this because I went through those and I made those decisions. It got me where I am today. And honestly, I can say I wouldn't change it. If I could wave a magic wand, my personality, who I am today, would be drastically different. Of all the terrible things that happened when I was a child and everything in between, it would drastically change who I am as a person. I can tell you that. And I like who I am as a person. Okay, last thing. Pula. I did not know of the book club. Is that public? Yes. You can get access to it by going to carnivorousme.com. There's a book club tab. Click on that, and there's some instructions. It is the little symbol that is white and blue, and it looks like a game remote. You click on that, and it'll put you into the Discord. We do it on Thursdays, 6 p.m. Pacific. Okay? And if you're struggling with that, just message me either on Instagram or you can message me on my website and I can send you the link. But it is on there. But last time, book club, y'all. Last thing, and then I'm going to go. Tiny Habits. Read it. If you don't want to do book club, that's fine. I strongly think doing book club's wonderful. Hearing the other ladies talk. We don't have any gents. Trying to convince us.
I will be in Thursday this week for book club, and I am reading the catch up, so I will read chapter 6.
You got to make it to chapter 6. Anyways, we're doing chapters 5 and 6 this week, Thursday, 6 p.m. Pacific, y'all. Come join us. It costs nothing. If you don't want to buy the book, get it from the library, okay? All right, y'all. Have a good weekend, and I shall talk to you guys soon and talk to you next Sunday.
Love y'all.
Bye. Olive, she dribbled water all over my